In 2025, I stopped forcing myself to finish books, and honestly, it's completely changed the way that I read. Today I'm going to go through all of the books that I read in 2025, what I loved about them, my favourites, if I'd go back and reread them again. Before we get into all the fun stuff, I need to address the elephant in the room. The DNF list. It got a little bit extensive this year. We started off the year trying to finish My Amy, the Life That We Shared from Tyler James. I just got a little bit bored and was feeling guilty that I was feeling bored because it's a sad book about a tragedy. New Moon from the Twilight Saga. I loved the first one. I set myself a challenge to read the whole series and I got to book 2, which in my defense, I don't even like the second film. I kind of knew I wasn't gonna like the book. Credence by Penelope Douglas. I just couldn't do it. I literally got 2 chapters in and it wasn't even the smut in it. It wasn't like the weird family dynamic that goes on. It was purely the fact of I just didn't like it. And now that we've got the DNF list out of the way, I can now talk to you about the books that I did finish and the books that I loved. Also, if you see something moving here, it's just my dog. I'm safe. We're all good. We started off the year pretty strong with Yellowface by Rebecca Kuang. I really wanted to read this book once all the hype had died down. My God. This book got me back into reading. Like, I'd gone on like a good few years of like not really reading at all. And this book just got me so hard. What the fuck? And I loved it. I loved the plot. I absolutely hated the protagonist. Juniper is the biggest bitch that I've ever known in any fiction book ever. But that's the point. You're not meant to like her, I don't think. Did it get a little bit far-fetched towards the end? Yeah. Did I feel like it lost the story a little bit? Yeah. Did I absolutely love it though? Yeah. With all being said with Yellowface, I did give it a 4 stars. Yeah, we'll definitely go back for it. The second book that I read this year was The Fake Dating Game by Timothy Janovsky. Let me start off by saying I love this author. I think he's great. He does really, really well of capturing like a realistic, like, gay teenager. And his stories aren't just like gay love stories. They've got like a bit of like uniqueness in them and I just think they're great. This one though, I just couldn't get on with it. And like, it's not even that long and it took me so long to read it. It just got a little bit too far-fetched. I'm not saying I want something that's completely real. Yeah, I'm sorry, this wasn't for me. 2 stars. The next book that I read this year was You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thao. And this book got me crying like a little bitch. First of all, I'm such a sucker for a sad book. I love getting really sad at words on a page. I just think that's so cool. How does one person write a bunch of words on a page and I get really upset about it and I have no attachment to the people inside the book? Does that make any sense? The main character, Julie, did piss me off bad. I mean, she was grieving. She's a grieving girl, but she pissed me off like fuck. And even though like her boyfriend's died and she's called him and he's answered the phone, which wouldn't happen, it felt so real and it just made it feel possible and it was really, really good and I really loved it. I did give it a 4 stars. I think maybe going back, maybe I'd give it a 3.5 because so much is focused like within the school and I feel like I would have liked a bit more of like them and maybe like his family. 3.5 to 4 stars. And then we got to February and Valentine's Day was around the corner and I got peer pressured by TikTok to start reading Smart Flawless by Elsie Silver. I don't really get into like Western like type genre things. I don't know why, it just does not interest me at all. Cowboys don't do anything for me. Until I met Rhett Eaton. Oh my fucking god. It was feel good, it was smutty, and it completely changed how I view romance books and kind of like what I'm looking for in a romance book, low-key. Not saying I love smart, but like I loved the smut in it. I thought it was great. And these books are so cheap. I think I paid like £2.50 for this, brand new. Only downside was towards the end I noticed it especially. The only way that Rhett could get his like emphasis over of like how much he liked Summer, which is the woman in the story. He just added fuck and fucking to every single thing. It's like, you're so fucking beautiful and I want to fucking eat you or some shit like that. And it was a bit like, can you not think of any other ways to just, like, you didn't just say I love you. Do you know what I mean? That it was really annoying. That was the only thing, and that was at the very end of the book. Maybe some people like that, just not me. But I did give it a 4 stars because it, like I said, it completely changed the way that I look at romance books now. Right, I'm now bringing us back to 2012. All the young adult fiction books that came out, YouTube at that time, The Fault in Our Stars. I was back in my sad era. I was so obsessed with The Fault in Our Stars and the whole fandom when the film came out in 2014. It was the first sad film that I really loved. And it was the first, like, adult book that I'd read, I'm pretty sure. But I felt so attached to Hazel and Augustus. I would go to sleep and be wondering how Hazel's doing and hoping that she's alive. I think I then read it again in like 2018, so 7 years on, I was like, right, we'll give it another reread. And I was humbled. Although it is so badly written, and I never thought I'd say that. I'm not a judgy person. I love simple text. I don't like having to Google words or use my dictionary on my Kindle. It's bittersweet. I'm very grateful for this book. It opened up a whole world of books to me. I feel like this book has served its purpose now. I'm gonna put it back on the shelf and probably not touch it again, because I don't like the idea of me not liking this book, although I have given it 2 stars. Just like that, we've switched back over to smut, because we read Heartless by Elsie Silver, and I'm not going to be able to talk a lot. Cade Eaton. Everyone said that he was the best brother. I was like, yeah, whatever. They meant it. They were telling the truth. So in book 1, we meet Willa, and I'm going to be fair. I didn't like her. She didn't do a lot for me. I thought she was quite annoying in book 1. Book 2, though, I completely changed my opinion on her. I thought she was funny. She's just a fun person to read about, and yeah, I thought she was great. For Heartless, I've given it 4.5 stars. And then we go over to the 3rd book in the series, Powerless. Unnecessarily long, I'll give you that. The characters did nothing for me. This book got me in a really, really big reading slump. To the point where I've not actually read the other 2 in the series, because it's put me off. It's really, really put me off, and I was so dedicated to Elsie Silver because look, they're all on my shelf. Their stories just felt a bit secondary. Like, there's one big plot going on, and then their love story goes around that plot. I've not spoken to anyone who says that this is their favourite book. They've all said it's the worst one, so I'm not alone in it. Powerless has 2.5 stars because it is still Elsie Silver. I still love the way she writes, and I think she's great. I just think the first 2 books in the series were so good that she wouldn't have been able to beat it with this book. And this is where my year of reading did a full 360, because I swore I would never ever read a fantasy book ever again. A Court of Thorns and Roses was insane. I loved this book so much. I bought a Kindle purely for the fact that I could lie down in bed and read it, and that was purely down to this book. And now I'm obsessed with my Kindle. I can't actually remember the last time I read a book on, like, as a book. Sarah J Maas does a very good job at world building for beginners. Oh my god, I completely forgot about this for the DNF book. A Court of Mist and Fury, which is somewhere here. Over there. I'm not even going to bother getting it because it put me in such a bad slump again. I got halfway through, and I think the size of the book has just daunted me completely. And I was reading it on the Kindle, and I was going through pages and pages, and it was going up like 1%, and I was like, oh. The second book has put me in a reading slump. Maybe I'll go back to it at some point, because I was so obsessed with this book. I need to know what happens. But A Court of Thorns and Roses, I'm so mad that this is not being made into a film or TV or whatever. And the last book that I read this year was The Housemaid from Freida McFadden. I was in Florida when I was reading this, and I was in Disney. Anyone who's been to Disney knows how jam-packed those days are, and you're very tired. I was spending most days wanting to go back to the hotel to read this book. This book has got me into a different era of thriller. For those of you that don't know what this book is about, it follows Millie, who is fresh out of prison, and she gets a job as a housemaid at the Winchester's house. She goes to her room in the attic, and their wife is batshit crazy and just isn't very nice to her. And it all just does a full 360, everything you think you know you don't know. And yeah, it was so good. I loved it so much. And it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I didn't even need to pay for it. It was just there on my Kindle, which was great. The film, I thought we did a great job of keeping it quite true to the story until the very end, where they've completely changed everything. But it works, can I just say. I am definitely going into 2026 in my Freida McFadden / thriller era, because she's great. I thought the writing was great. It was so simple and easy to catch up with. And honestly, 5 stars. didn't even need to think about it. It's a 5-star read. Looking back, I would say this was like the strongest list of books that I've read in a year. Usually I've got a lot of short stories that are plopped into my Goodreads because I've been trying to meet the reading goal. But this year I feel like I had like a good bunch of books, and yeah. Hopefully 2026 brings more stories and more things that I like, and I find a new way of reading again, maybe. And if you want to see what's on my 2026 TBR list, then keep your eye out for the next video by clicking the bell notification button. And also, if you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments and tell me what you thought of them. Tell me what you think, if you would reread them again, and what's on your TBR list for next year. But yeah, that was all, and I hope you all have a nice Christmas, and I will see you in the new year.